Greetings, people of the interwebs. So me and my co-hosts Jordan and Reverend Spaceman.
I'm Reverend Spaceman.
What up?
Dave was not able to join us. He was supposed to, but he was not.
I've got his ticket still here waiting.
Yeah, he was a responsible adult and did not call out of work.
He is the most responsible now. It's
I know.
determined.
He's a changed man.
He is the adult.
Yeah.
But anyways, so if you have not already concluded by whatever I titled this, we just got back, like literally just got back from seeing
The Chipmunks.
The Chipmunks, yeah, it was great.
Road Chip.
No, Star Wars: The Force Awakens, and let's just go around the room and first thoughts and
Spoiler free.
yeah, spoiler free.
Spoiler
Just a
free.
short little
Yeah.
analysis.
I think this was a beautiful addition to the franchise. It was enough Star Wars to be great, but to be a part of the franchise while still creating its own tone.
Yeah, I second that. Like, in my opinion, like it was very, very much an homage to the film franchise itself, in particular, Episode 4, A New Hope. But again, like it's not like so reliant upon nostalgia and it's like, hey, we're Star Wars guys, we're Star Wars, that like it deters the film. Like it's a solid film, and again, it's so beautifully made, and it again like it feels so natural. It doesn't feel like after 30 years.
Not forced.
Yeah, no pun intended. Yeah, it flows so well. Like just all the characters. Like it's not one of those things where like when Han Solo comes in, you're kind of like.
Yeah.
Naturally, everyone like they were kind of like yeah.
Everyone clapped.
But it wasn't
Nice
one
crowd
of those,
too.
Yeah, yeah, it was like
the crowd was a lot better than I
There was
thought.
clapping and cheering, but it wasn't like rowdy.
Yeah, it wasn't
roaring,
over. Yeah.
But yeah.
But like it didn't just feel shoehorned in. It was like, well, this is the scene with Han Solo, and then it's kind of like, huh?
Yeah.
You know.
I was very impressed. Just from start to finish. A lot of things I didn't expect, which was cool.
Mm-hmm.
You know, some things I did expect like that, but I'm still letting it sink in
Yeah.
to determine why I rate it, but obviously it's better than prequels.
Yeah.
I'd say that. But
Yeah.
That,
Not that the bar was.
well, I
very
mean,
high.
it was hard putting it ahead of Phantom Menace, but at the
Yeah.
end of the day, I think I got to. But
I mean, all those trade negotiations. That's
I
that's
just
like
love politics.
yeah,
So I guess
this one needed a whole lot more politics.
yeah.
more
It would have been so much better.
more Gungans.
Yeah.
But I guess we'll start kind of from the beginning and
Spoiler alert.
Yeah.
Yes.
So, like for those of you who have not seen
less
the
than
film,
3 minutes in.
this is the part where you need to end this. Go see
Then
the
come
film.
back.
Like see it immediately.
We'll wait.
We'll wait.
That's the joke that every podcaster makes
Yeah.
when they stop the thing and say, "Go watch it." We'll wait.
We're not gonna wait.
Because you can pause it and then
We
we'll
warned
come
you.
back and
If you continue listening from this point on, it's on you. If things get spoiled, so if you want to get pissed off,
It's gonna be hard if you
your fault.
haven't seen it yet.
That means you, Dave.
yeah.
BB Dave.
Hashtag
Who-
BB Dave.
Who for some reason doesn't like BB-8? I think he's mentioned it before in the podcast.
this could be its own podcast.
Yeah.
But yeah, from this point on, spoilers ahead.
Yes. So
Dave.
we'll
Yeah.
give you time to pause. Hold on. Just
Let me finish burping. Then you pause,
Yeah.
pause while I'm burping.
Okay. That sounded more like you were choking.
he was forcing it.
It was, yeah.
All right. Let's go.
All right. So
Han Solo dies. I mean,
Stop.
if you've seen it, you know that. So
yeah.
But we're gonna actually try to summarize.
Yeah.
And go through. it.
So again, if you've for whatever reason have not listened to us and you're like, I'm gonna keep listening,
You just got
you're
punished.
stupid.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's your fault.
Yeah.
That was the punishment.
That's your
yeah.
punishment.
We actually said that later in the podcast, and
Yeah.
we came back and edited it.
Yeah.
Just so you would get in trouble.
Exactly. Okay, so the beginning it starts out on Jakku.
Not
this, yeah, not
A
Tatooine.
lot of new planets.
Only has one
Yeah.
son. It only has one son.
Yeah, only has one son, and there were even shots like on Jakku that were like very much like in A New Hope.
Yeah.
Yep.
Which again, it's that
Walking over
nice,
them hills.
It's a nice like sprinkled in nostalgia, not like in your face like nostalgia. Ah, that's why you love this, which is great. Like it was handled properly.
Admittedly, JJ was a little more ham-fisted about that in the Trek movies.
Yeah.
I'll say that.
But-
This was definitely a JJ movie, though.
Yeah,
The filming style was undeniably his.
Yeah.
and not like in
Not
any
in a bad
way.
way,
Yeah,
yeah.
not in a bad way. So pretty much starts out that Poe Dameron, played by Oscar Isaac, is talking to this older gent played by Max Sado, he gives him a map, like a USB of almost
Space.
Of
a
their
space.
version.
Yeah,
As
like
close.
basically it's like this little USB type thing. It's like, oh, this map leads to Luke Skywalker. Because like first off, that opening crawl.
Yeah, the crawl was
Oh my god.
magnificent.
Like
Luke
as soon
Skywalker
as
has vanished.
So simple.
Yeah.
Right to the point.
yeah, like right to the point.
You already know what the movie's plot's going to be.
Yeah.
Unlike some others in the
And
franchise. I won't
basically-
mention, but
The time
negotiations.
in the time that he's vanished, like the First Order has kind of risen from the ashes of the Empire. And so like the Empire's after him, like he is enemy number one, and then the Resistance is looking for him because Leia is in charge of the Republic. Yeah. So everyone's trying to find Luke.
yeah, that's the plot right
Yeah,
there.
that is essentially
you know?
the plot. But there's obviously more to
yeah.
it. It's not just like gotta
I'm
find
glad.
Luke,
I'm
and
glad
it's not like a
just
crazy road
I'm
trip.
glad it's
but-
already established,
Yeah.
and we know what's going on right from the get go.
But basically, they're in this little village, and after he's kind of like, all right, cool, and he's like, take this, and don't just keep it safe. Naturally, that's when the First Order comes down.
Save it with your life.
And the First Order immediately start dropping down.
That was so cool.
Yeah, stormtroopers, and these stormtroopers are
Just from the get go.
they're not like the ones in the original trilogy where like they're missing every shot. No, they're
Clunky.
precise.
I mean, what was the last film to really just get right into it besides Empire?
Dark Knight did a good job at it.
Well, I meant with
Star
Star
Wars.
I meant with Star Wars.
Revenge of the Sith had a fairly
Yeah,
actiony
that's
opening.
true. But like with so many
Yeah.
just bad dudes right from the get go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was
And again,
awesome.
like they're very much like an imposing force because
I
they
was-
they come right in. They're just like
that,
bam, bam,
remember
bam,
that
bam,
first
bam.
shot of the stormtroopers? I automatically thought of like the Red Harvest cover of that book.
Yeah.
The like horror type book. That's like that was already scary.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So again, like
Earned its PG-13 by
oh
then.
yeah,
Yeah.
for sure. Because they just come right in, and start blasting people, and then Kylo Ren comes out along with Captain Phasma.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
Which is
wasn't
really
sure.
cool.
You were like Ren. And I was like, maybe Phasma.
Yeah.
Because I didn't think they would do it that quickly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Then first
I was
off,
like, all right,
Ren
let's
comes
go.
out, and I'm kind of like, yeah.
Yeah.
But then right behind him,
This dude
Phasma
is
comes
awesome.
out, so it's like, oh.
And she's awesome.
Yeah, she is.
Like they, and again, like it wasn't
I like
like it
that
didn't feel
team.
crowded. Like, but they're kind of like, no, we have to add all the characters in this one scene. It's like, it just flowed so well.
You could say that about just the whole film.
Yeah, the entire film, the flow of it was
Yeah.
just perfect.
There was no one main character either.
No, like
Mm-hmm.
everyone had like
Their
proper
role.
screen time. And even like the characters that I guess you could say like, oh, well, they weren't properly developed. Well, I think that's because they're saving it for
Yep.
8 and 9. So it's kind of like this is just like your little taste.
Then we already
of-
got that flame trooper just right
Yeah.
at the
I
end
know.
that we had seen in the TV spots and whatnot and
Yeah,
trailer.
because
Like,
basically after
that was
they
so awesome.
they kill all the people, like I guess the people who are left in just the village, they're like, get rid of it.
Yeah. And I just want to say, thank God they got flamethrowers right.
Yeah.
Because a lot of movies just have them be like it's just a puff of fiery smoke.
Yeah.
Like,
Just that one shot sold me on those. On
Yeah.
those flame
Yeah.
troopers.
Flamethrowers like it's like a hose of
Yeah.
fire like liquid. It doesn't
The
just
space fireman.
Yeah.
yeah.
And then pretty much from the very beginning, like we see Kylo whip out his lightsaber.
He likes to whip it
Yeah.
out a
Yeah.
lot. He whips it out.
like
He's
he's
still a
like,
lot.
like
He's not shy.
no, like other Jedi and like Sith, they're a bit more.
They kind of conserve it. And
Yeah, but
use
no,
it
he's just kind of
when-
like, look what I got.
He's
Yes.
like, I've got it and I can play with it.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and that's what we'd all do.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
what anyone would do. If
It's
they-
like
I would-
he's being the kid.
Yeah, I would just
Oh,
have
yeah.
that like in conversations, like, hey, how's the weather?
yeah,
Yeah,
Kind
do
of like
little
Luke
tricks.
in A New Hope, just kind of
Yeah,
messing around.
exactly.
That's what Kylo does, just in an aggressive
You know,
way.
So,
most powerful weapon in the galaxy. Point it right at your face. First
Yeah.
thing you do.
did anyone get the name of Max von Sydow's character?
I tried.
I forgot his
I'm
name,
gonna
but
have
anyways,
to go find it. out.
um,
So I think there's a lot more of that guy that we'll
yeah, like I think we'll see
hear
him
about,
more
read about
in
backstories.
yeah
and stuff.
backstories or maybe
He
flashbacks.
serves a purpose.
Yeah, because not a whole lot was known
Kylo
about the
just
character. Just straight up
cuts him,
yeah,
right?
Yeah.
cuts him down.
It's like, oh, okay.
Like, he basically gives him, like, one chance. He's like, where's the droid? I don't know what you're talking about. Well, okay. He's
I got
like,
a short
look.
fuse. I'm not ready.
Yeah, again, like, he's not
I
like,
don't have
again,
time for you.
these incompetent villains we see in movies that are like, I'll give you one chance. I don't know. I'll give you one more chance.
Yeah.
And they might punch
Tell
him or,
me.
like, physically hurt him, but no, he's just like, you're
See
dead.
ya.
You guys, you got this.
Go.
Stormtroopers, head out and get this droid.
He does his job, but he's not refined.
Yeah.
Like he is very much.
He's trying to bring this whole thing back.
Yeah,
You know?
he's kind of young, idealistic.
Yeah.
Enthusiast.
Yeah,
But you don't want to mess with him
Yeah.
because he's a little unhinged at times.
and that's what makes him a great villain because
Yeah.
he'll just kill you if he gets mad.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's short.
But basically, Poe
we need-
Dameron
yeah.
gets captured almost like he's about to take off. They start shooting at him. They damage his X-wing. BB-8 managed to escape because he gives the little
Yay.
USB to BB-8.
He's already, they show him.
Yeah,
first,
BB-8's
first shot.
Yeah,
Yeah,
And-
more of him in this movie than we thought.
which is a good thing.
Yeah.
I love
But,
BB-8.
I guess we
Dave?
can give homage to some BB-8 love at the end.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Uh,
hope,
then
I hope you're not listening at this point, Dave.
Yeah.
but
Should've stopped.
yeah,
then, we,
BB
then we get to meet Finn all
yeah,
all
Finn.
Yeah.
right from the get
I
go.
like the origin of the name.
Yeah,
Yeah, I wasn't sure.
Yeah, because his like stormtrooper designation is FN.
FN2817 or something.
Yeah.
Or
Something like
7,
that.
I don't
Yeah.
know.
And then Poe's just like, that's kind of a mouthful.
I was gonna call you-
I'll call you Finn.
yeah. He's like, yeah, okay, I like
I liked
that.
how
Yeah.
his when he was a stormtrooper, how he's got that blood on
Yeah.
him from the battle, and
Yeah.
you can already tell he's conflicted on what to do. He doesn't shoot.
Yeah, because like
when
all the other
Phasma
stormtroopers,
and
they're just
Kylo demand.
you know,
He doesn't
Kylo
talk.
Kylo sees it.
yeah,
Yeah.
and he remembers.
And let's just talk about how badass it was that Kylo stopped a beam in the air
Yes.
with the Force.
yeah.
Oh.
Like Poe Dameron, like he's one of the last guys left, and he just fires right at, and he just effortlessly just kind of like, oh, hey, a beam.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he's
And
force
just
sensitive.
keeps it in midair
Yeah.
until they capture Poe Dameron. He's like, okay, we're done here. And then it
Yeah.
flies
Yeah.
straight into like at the ground.
Walks on a ship like a boss.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's just like shaking in the air.
Yeah. But yeah, like, and also you kind of see the tension between Kylo and Finn that like erupts later.
Yeah.
Where, because again, like you were saying, like he notices and he's kind of like
Yep. When he's walking back,
that guy.
he's got the blood on it.
Yeah.
Yes. And then Kylo's torturing
Poe.
Poe, like with the Force. He's like, where's Luke Skywalker? And he's like, I don't know, man. At first they're doing like physical torture, then Kylo's like, all right, that's not working. The Force, and then basically,
He lets it keep
Pulls
going.
Oh, yeah.
the information out of his brain.
Yeah.
yeah. And then he's
Also
kind of like,
awesome.
oh, well, we don't need you anymore. We just need the droid.
Yeah.
And then Finn is again very conflicted. He's kind of like, no, I don't like this. So basically, he breaks Poe out. They escape in a TIE fighter, which is a really cool scene.
Yeah.
Just like
Yeah.
seeing them. Like I love like when
It was all Han and Luke flashbacks.
Yeah.
for me
Yeah.
during that scene.
because like Finn is in the stormtrooper
In a good way.
his stormtrooper outfit, and then Poe's just
Yeah.
he's escorting him handcuffed, and he's kind of like act natural.
Yeah.
He's like I am calm. He's like not
Just a little
talking about-
short for a
he's like,
stormtrooper.
I'm talking to myself. I was kind of like I like that
Yeah.
he's not this cocky stoic hero. He's kind of like
He's already
I don't know
funny.
what I'm doing right now. I'm doing
He's
what I think
already
is right.
Funny and likable.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like he's
from the beginning.
yeah, very relatable. Because I feel like that's how any of us would be in that situation
Yeah.
where it's like, I'm doing what I think is right, but I'm scared shitless right
Which is
now.
way-
Probably how he
over.
felt in real life.
Oh,
filming.
Yeah. It transferred and
Yeah.
it worked.
Yeah,
Yeah,
because
he does
again,
much
he's a huge Star Wars fan.
Yeah.
But yeah, like they escape in the TIE fighter. They get shot down almost immediately. They put up a good fight though before that.
Yeah.
Like they shoot down like a couple other TIE fighters and some of the cannons on the Star Destroyer. Or I guess this new Star Destroyer ship. Crash land back on Jakku, and that's when we see that shot from the trailer where he, Finn kind of is
Yeah, the first
Yeah.
the first one ever over
where he's
13
kind
months
of
ago.
Yeah.
very
It's kind of cool to see how what the setting of that was
Yeah.
now, because in the first time we saw it, it just
and we
comes
were
right.
we were right about that in our trailer analysis. If you want to watch any of those, where
Please do.
you're
See how wrong we were.
but we were like he's probably not like if he is a stormtrooper he's like probably deserted and he's kind of like trying to figure out what's going on right now.
Something could have happened.
Yeah. And so basically, like, he ends up getting to, like, the little settlement where Rey is at. Which right after, actually, this scene with Poe
And Kylo.
and Kylo, that's when it cuts to her,
think
like,
so.
scavenging in that
Yeah,
destroyer
that we
ship.
see in the trailer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then later, like, when BB-8 escapes or gets away from, like, the other village that was attacked, he meets up with Rey. And she's kind of like, oh, hey, little guy. He's kind of like, where did he come from? He
Love
you know,
Boom,
yeah, he goes, he's like, classified. Oh, me too. But yeah, BB-8.
Yeah.
He's
So
cute.
cool.
He's cute and cuddly.
Love
I know we were kind
guy.
of
Yeah.
joking around with it before.
BB-8 is awesome, though.
Yeah.
BB-8 won me.
Yeah.
Won me
Yeah.
over.
Dave.
Yeah.
Dave.
Stop listening, Dave.
Turn it off, Dave.
He's cute
You
and
haven't seen
cuddly.
it yet.
And I want a pillow of him.
They don't really be cuddly. But, you know, so, like, they kind of have, like, this nice little back and forth where he's kind of like, you know, I need to get this to, like, the Resistance. And she's kind of like, well, I mean, I can't really do anything for you.
Yeah.
But they have that, like, this little connection where I guess BB-8 kind of trusts her. Mm-hmm. It's kind of like, well, I'm going to stick with you.
I mean, she can probably already, or he can, BB-8 can probably already sense that,
Yeah.
you know, Rey's a trustworthy
Yeah.
chick.
Because also, like, when she scavenges things, she takes us to, like, this little outpost for supplies, like food. And the guy was kind of like, oh, well, that droid will get you, like, 60 portions
yeah.
of this, like, Insta
She
bread.
kind of sounded like Dexter Jester. Did anyone catch on that from
A little
Attack
bit,
of the
yeah.
Clones?
Yeah.
And you could tell she might have considered it, because
Yeah,
most
she
of the
did.
time she'd get, like, maybe, like, half of a portion or whatever, a quarter. But
Because
he's,
she takes it all at first.
yeah. And
Sees
then,
BB-8.
yeah, BB-8's kind of
upset.
like,
Giving
yeah.
him like
Sad,
the little camera lens puppy
Yeah,
eye.
I mean, BB-8 was, you know, played the toddler little kid role.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Oh, yeah.
Much better than Jake Lloyd.
Yeah. So then she's
Watch it,
kind of like,
watch it,
the droid's not for sale. And then, of course, he's kind of like, pretty sure the First Order's looking for this droid. And naturally, the First Order's kind of like, oh, the droid's still on Jakku, to this location. And then, basically, anyway, so Finn meets up with Rey, with Poe's jacket.
After
That's
she
one
has
of-
him to the ground.
Yeah. So that's one of the few things that he finds after the crash. He thinks Poe's dead, but he grabs his jacket, which, you know, for those of you who watch Mr. Sunday,
Hashtag Star Wars
yeah,
jacket
Mr. Sunday
speculation.
movies, yeah.
I had to say
whole
that
thing.
slow because I can't say it as fast as you.
Yeah, because it's kind of late. But anyways.
Hashtag Star Wars jacket confirmation.
Yes. It was Poe's jacket. But anyway, so, like, shortly after they meet, like, she's actually getting attacked by, like, these kind of lowlives. And, you know, Finn's about to come and say...
The village people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
While singing YMCA.
Yeah, like, like, Finn's about to, like, go in and save her, but she's pretty capable. Like, she just...
Well, I mean, the way
know.
she used that staff,
Yeah.
I was like, all right, she's going to have some good lightsaber
Yeah.
skills one day.
Yeah, she isn't just kind of like this helpless female.
She's skilled.
Yeah, yeah. Like, his reaction when he's kind of
I
like,
know.
oh.
Because at first he goes over, he's like, oh, I'll take
Yeah.
a step back.
And I feel like he was still kind of like, all right, I wasn't needed.
And she's hot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then
That
the
helps.
BB-8 notices, he's like, hey, that's Poe's jacket. Because, like, BB-8 starts beeping. She
Yeah.
looks at him, and she's like... And then she starts running after him. He's just, like, confused. Then she, like, you know, tackles him, basically, you know, hits him to the ground. And she's like, he says that's his, you know, pilot's jacket. And he's like, yeah, you know. Explains the whole situation that he helped him escape. So that's when that bond gets created, where they're kind of like, oh, well, all right, let's all be friends. And then, you know, the village gets attacked by the First Order, so they're kind of like, okay, well, we have to escape. They're about to get to a ship, gets blown up, and then it pans over to...
Well, no, but the dialogue leading up to that,
Yeah,
too.
was
They're
so-
like, Finn's looks over like, what about that ship? She says, that ship's garbage. They're running
Yeah.
towards this other ship.
Yeah.
It gets blown up. Then she says, okay, garbage ship it is. And it pans over.
to
Yes.
none other than the
I did
Millennium
not expect
Falcon.
that so
Yeah.
soon.
Neither
and
did I.
The crowd starts clapping.
Yeah.
And it was
So
great.
they run to the Falcon, and they're able to pilot it, more or less.
a little difficult.
Yeah, a
at
little
first.
difficult. But she kind of gets a hang of it, because I guess because...
Scene's amazing. That scene's amazing.
It is.
The dog fight.
Yeah, like the dogfight, like in the trailer, going through like that destroyer
Which
ship.
obviously I thought it would be Han.
The same with me.
so-
But like I think some people kind of criticize this and be like, "Oh, how was she able to pick it up so easily?" Well, I think being a scavenger, like just scavenging all these parts, she was probably able to pick up on that tech stuff
Well,
easily.
and... Okay,
Well-
we already said spoiler alert, but since it's... whatever. Farther spoiler... Ending spoiler alert. We're pretty sure she's a Skywalker.
Yeah.
And
Well, I think that was one of the
piloting
biggest things too, is that she
Yeah.
was she was of
I mean,
Skywalker
it's not
lineage.
like 100%,
Yeah.
but
Pretty sure.
you can. I'm 99.
Yeah.
right there. It's just
Yeah.
they haven't said it.
So yeah, that was another thing too. Is like she's got the Skywalker lineage, and so I think it comes natural. She's just kind of like, well, okay, if we do this and that, aha, we got it. Yeah. So really cool fight, dog fight scene between the Falcon and 2 TIE fighters, and then after they defeat the TIE fighters and they're going into space, both of them are kind of like, oh my god, yeah.
I mean, they've got so much adrenaline.
Yeah, like both of them are just in awe. They're kind of like,
who would have
yeah,
thought?
good shooting, good flying. How'd you do that? I don't know.
Their day would come to this.
Yeah, exactly. And then shortly after that, they get captured
I love you.
by a First Order ship, and then they're kind of like, crap.
Yeah. After such excitement, bring me down low.
Yeah.
What they think is the First
Or
Order ship.
what they think is the First Order ship turns out to be everyone's favorite smuggler, Rogue,
Alvin,
because we saw the Chipmunks movie. I don't know if we clarified that.
Alvin Awakens.
This is all that the Chipmunks movie.
Yeah,
it just so happens to have a lot of the same character names in Star Wars.
Yeah. I don't even know what happens in Star Wars. Like,
Yeah, what is this stuff?
What are those?
Are stars fighting each other?
who are you people?
But yeah. So, anyways, Han Solo shows up, and that's when you see that infamous scene where he's like, "Chewie, we're home," and you're like, "Yes!"
The movie just could have ended there, and I'd still walk out happy.
It would have. Yeah, it would not have been horrible.
No.
Because it showed a lot of the scenes from the trailer.
Yep.
And it was great.
And from the get-go, when Han's introduced, that's when a lot of questions already start running through my head. More how he doesn't recognize Rey. Should he? I don't know. I thought could be his daughter, maybe not. Some connection, but
because you did mention to BB-8 that she was kind of like, well, I'm waiting for my family to return, and so you're like, maybe was she like left there to stay
she's obviously
safe?
a slave, lower class, where she lives.
Mm-hmm.
We don't know the background or the circumstances yet as to why.
But again, I like the mystery.
Yeah, I do too. I love
like they're not. It's not like
it's not just like, oh hey daughter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I feel like
you got this old junk up.
George Lucas probably would have done that. Because I guess he would have assumed we're stupid. It's kind of like, oh hey Rey, did you know you're my daughter, by the way?
Yeah.
Or
hello,
whoever's daughter she like Luke or Chewie's or whatever, they would have been like, oh hey daughter, come here, let's have a good family bonding time.
Yeah. But then not long after that, what we think would be a pretty big reveal is almost mentioned just casually in passing by Snoke.
Oh yeah.
Just like, by the way, you're Han Solo's son. He's like,
It's like whoa,
what?
Yeah,
Kylo, yeah.
Because like I knew, like I kind of had a feeling that like he was the son, but like I figured it would be they would have kept it a bit more vague or cryptic, or it would have been a bigger reveal.
Just
but
kind
he was
of the way
like,
they did about it. It's just like wait, what?
which nothing I'm complaining. I think that it worked.
It threw me off guard.
Yeah. But I do like that he was just kind of like it was the way that it was done, where he was kind of like you love to like the droid would because the First Order found out that like Han Solo picked up the refugees or
and see that's like a problem with a lot of movies is like if it's something they both know, a lot of times they'll still say like it's a big reveal.
Yeah.
Like, as you know, Han Solo is your father, but they just like he just kind of mentions it in passing.
Yeah.
Like,
so casually
because they both know it.
Yeah.
And then it almost goes under the radar, and then it took me a second, and I was like, what?
Yeah.
Wait, stop. Let's rewind a little bit.
Yeah, because they were just so nonchalant about it, where he's kind of like, yes, the smuggler Han Solo has the droid and the, or not refugees, but, my mind's gone blank. The wanted people, basically. Yeah. And he's kind of like, Han Solo, your father, and you're kind of like, what? So like, oh, wow.
All right, this just got even better.
Well done, JJ, for just, not like trying to
you're
build some kind of
on
emotional...
edge waiting for it. Like, I know it's coming. Oh, wait, that was it?
Yeah.
Yeah, and then you're like, okay, wow. All right, let's keep rolling with this.
Let's go.
Then it cuts back to Han and Rey, and they're kind of and also Chewie got shot during the battle. In the arm.
I was glad Chewie didn't die.
Yeah.
I was kind of hearing things that there was a chance.
And so like Finn's trying to like patch his arm up, Chewie's trying to kill him, and then Han and Rey are just having this nice dialogue where it's kind of like, oh, well, the ship is kind of damaged. It's like, well, if you did this and that, you might be able to...
Yeah.
And he's kind of like,
Smart girl.
I like you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Officer a job.
Yeah, officer a job. in his own Han Solo way. Like, he's not just like, hey,
Even-
welcome aboard.
Yeah, even after their encounter with the Guavian enforcers. So that was another fun little adventure.
Yeah, it was...
that they already get right as soon as Han's
Get to see Han being
introduced.
Han.
Yeah. Talk his way out of it.
Yeah.
Oh, man. Like, it was... Again, it's so right.
Yeah.
Everything's so right about this movie.
Han Solo and Chewie were very much Han Solo and Chewie.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Like there was nothing,
They didn't miss a beat.
No. There was nothing done wrong with them.
No. Like...
It was perfect.
Yeah. Cause I know, like, that scene where, like, there's the two, like, I guess, shady groups that Han Solo owed money to. You know, he's telling the kids, you know, Finn and Rey, he's kind of like, don't worry, I'll talk my way out of everything.
Yeah.
Chewie's like, like, nodding his, he's like, isn't that right, Chewie?
Chewie's been around long enough to know.
Yeah. So Chewie just kind of, like, nods, and he's kind of like, watch it, you.
Yeah.
But yeah, like, again,
It was great to see the old duo back.
yeah.
Yeah.
And they did not miss a beat at all.
The
Like,
chemistry was great.
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
The chemistry with all that,
I know.
everyone.
Everyone worked really well off each other.
Yeah. Like, and again, this movie was
So hot.
Had
It was
pretty-
so hot.
It had a lot more comedy than I expected, but not like
Not in the
Yeah.
Age of Ultron kind of like.
No,
I mean,
like-
I enjoyed it, but it took away from it.
Yeah.
No, it worked.
again, it all felt natural.
That's what I was going to say. This movie did what the prequels couldn't.
Yeah.
The prequels tried to add comedy and force it.
Yeah.
But it was too kiddie or just dumb.
And it was like with this movie, you got comedy at the right time.
Yeah.
Even like when Kylo wasn't trying to be funny, he
He
was
was funny.
Yeah. His little temper tantrum.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I think one of the like
It's
when
like when we were saying
Just
he
like
was,
save the
he'd
droids.
swing his sword if he got mad.
yeah, like when they found out that Kylo or Poe had escaped, he was kind of like, huh.
he just takes it out.
Yeah,
Just like destroys that whole panel.
And the general dude
turns
just
around and is like,
scared.
yeah, just turns around, looks at the guy. Anything else?
yeah. It's kind of like no.
Like it wasn't forcing that they would do a joke and they would go back to serious like
Yeah.
that, and it doesn't kill like
Yeah.
it
No, and
flow
again,
throughout.
like
That's just why it
it's
flowed
that
perfectly.
perfect Star Wars humor from the original trilogy, where it's kind of that sarcastic,
Snarky.
almost well aware of.
I feel like
what
this
it
this had
is.
more laugh out loud moments.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that also has part to do with it was
JJ.
the first time we were seeing it, and the audience.
Yeah.
You kind of feed off your audience
Yeah.
as well.
And
But,
JJ.
yeah, but just throughout I found more laugh out loud moments in
Yeah.
the trilogy, which is still funny
Oh, yeah.
itself.
Yeah.
But they definitely took the effort to throw in jokes when necessary and appropriate.
Yeah.
It didn't hurt anything.
No, it was
It did what the prequels could not do.
yeah.
Yeah.
Throughout everything.
Yeah. But then they land. Again, I don't remember the name of the planet that they land on.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to
We'll
study up
we'll
the
have to-
planets. This is
become more savvy.
There's
with
no
these new planets and
Coruscant.
characters.
Yeah.
But they land on this planet to meet up with Maz Kanata,
yeah.
who's been around for
There's a
like
lot of
1,000 years.
mystery and buzz around that character
Yeah.
coming in, and it delivered.
Which I think she's holed up in like this old Jedi temple, like actually the first
Yeah.
Jedi temple, I think,
Okay.
or one of the first
Yeah,
Jedi
yeah.
temples. And
Her and
he's-
Yoda go way back.
Yeah. So he's, explaining to them, he's kind of like, well, if anyone knows where Luke is, it's going to be Maz, or have any inkling as to where they'd be.
Yeah, and just a little before that, Han confirms all his doubts.
Oh, yeah.
And,
Yeah.
he's dead serious.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah, because, like, as they're heading
it's funny
there...
how, he developed from episode 4 to 5, thinking a little more. 6, okay, I'm getting a little convinced. And
Yeah.
then now it's, oh, yeah.
Yeah, because, like, on the way, like, that's when BB-8 shows the little hologram of the map, or part of the map.
But especially with his son now.
Yeah.
It's like, how can you not?
And, they're all kind of like, well, yeah, the map leads to Luke Skywalker. And he's kind of like, they're like, you knew him, right? You're the Han Solo that fought with the Resistance.
Yeah.
And he's kind of like, yeah, that was me.
Well, that's what I love about it, because with the new generation, they think some of the Jedi and that stuff's myth. Like,
Yeah,
Rey even says Luke Skywalker thought he was a myth.
Yeah, well, like, even, like, Rey
Old stories passed down.
and Finn are kind of like, they're like, Han Solo the smuggler? No, I thought he's a war hero. And then they look at Chewie, and Chewie's just kind of like, I don't know, man. He tells stories of himself. I don't know what story he's going with.
Left and right.
Yeah, like, he was a smuggler. He was a war hero.
It was everything.
Yeah, he was.
Well, it's
a
like
little
how
bit of everything.
how that in 30 plus years it had already gained a mystery, a myth, a
Yeah.
mystique to it that makes it even more sacred.
Yeah.
You mean this is the Millennium Falcon?
Yeah.
Made the Kessler run in 14 parsecs?
12 parsecs.
14.
Yeah. And then, he's basically telling him, he's kind of like, yeah, like, I used to not even believe in it, but it's the Force, the Jedi, the Sith.
It's true. The Force. The line wasn't like it was in the trailer either. No. He said, it's true. The Jedi, the Force, all of it.
Yeah. And then, whether it was the excitement because of the characters or the actors, because they were excited, they're like, ooh, it's all true.
I think they're in their character, but they're also
being
in real life at the same time.
Being the fans are kind of like, oh man, yes.
Then they go to that planet's version of their own cantina, which was
and Maz Kanata greets Han Solo immediately, and they kind of catch up.
Where's my boyfriend?
I like how they portray her too in the very beginning as just kind of the bar owner, not as knowledgeable or
because when I kept hearing about the character Maz Kanata, I expected it to be
you knew she was going to be important.
Yeah, but I expected her to be like an exiled Jedi or something like that.
I like how she just kind of blends in.
Yeah, just again seamlessly blends in. It's kind of like just Han Solo and her just chatting up.
Yep.
And she looks at Finn. She's kind of like, you're someone who's running, but you need to face your whatever you're running from. And then of course she looks at Rey, and that's when you hear the line where it's like, those eyes. Although actually I don't think that line was in the movie where she was like, who are you? Yeah. She's like, I'm no one.
Yeah.
I think that was more just to add to the hey Loki.
There were a few my cat. There were a few things in the trailer that weren't in the movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, very few.
I don't think it wasn't done in that kind of deceptive way, because it still showed the tone.
Yeah. But she's still knows right off the bat who Rey is. Because again, she's not only, I think the fact that she's been around for 1,000 years, but I think it's just one of those things where maybe she is Force sensitive.
You also know how smart she is when she takes her little glasses off and stares into Finn and sees the fear.
Oh yeah. And so then
and by this point Finn hasn't told anybody that he was a stormtrooper.
Yeah.
So
I mean Han Solo knows.
Well, yeah, but specifically Rey.
Which that actually does remind me of the funny scene when they're on the Millennium Falcon trying to repair it after getting shot. And he's like, okay, BB-8, where do we go? And he's kind of like he's like, no, we need to get to your base. You have to tell us where to go. And he's kind of like, look, I'll be honest with you, man. I'm a stormtrooper. And BB-8's kind of like, what? He's kind of, look, I don't want to, I'm not with the First Order, I want to just leave it and all that stuff. And then she's, down, I guess, on the lower level of the Millennium Falcon, repairing things. She's like, what are you all talking about? It's like, nothing, everything's fine. He's kind of like, come on, man, just cover for me.
Then, yeah.
And then she's like, so where?
Yeah. BB-8, tell her where base is. He just kind of looks.
Yeah. Then BB-8 says the location. He's like, that's the one. And then he gives BB-8 a thumbs up, and then this little
looks like a lighter.
Yeah, it looks like a little lighter pops up, and essentially gives a thumbs up. And I was kind of like, "Oh my god, BB-8, you are the coolest thing ever."
If you told me he was going to do all that, I was like, I would be like, "This is stupid."
Yeah,
it really does sound stupid on paper.
It does.
But it was done so
right.
It
does. I was like, did that really just happen? And did I love it that much? Yeah, it actually did.
Yeah, it's such a. You wouldn't think, even for Star Wars, to have such a great character.
That's what we keep going back to, the flow.
Such a great character within a droid. R2 is
so much
really,
personality.
I know. R2 is great. But
I love R2.
BB-8 is almost, you almost forget that
BB-8 is great.
Yeah. Hashtag BB great.
Yeah.
Also hashtag fuck you, Dave.
No, we aren't going with BB Dave.
Yeah. But you
the
don't
other
always forget that it's a droid. You're just like, that little alien thing.
Then right before they go into the little cantina, and Han's like, women always find out.
Yeah.
Another good life lesson from Han Solo.
Yeah. And I think that's one of those moments where Finn's kind of like,
Yeah, well, Rey still doesn't know.
Yeah. But he does confront her because he just wants nothing to even do with the Resistance. He just wants to get to the Outer Rim as far away from the First Order as possible.
Yep.
And when he tells her, a lot of movies would handle the whole revealing that I lied thing much more annoyingly.
Yeah, like the female would be like, I can't trust you anymore. But she was like,
they just,
and a big deal. They make too much of a big deal.
It's just swept it.
They've got too much going on for her to
she understands.
be a girl.
You understand why you would lie about that because you would lie about that.
Yeah. But also, it's one of those things where it's kind of like, it's like, okay, yes, he lied, but he left the First Order.
Yeah,
and he seems good.
Yeah, like again, he did, help her out on several occasions and stuff like that. So it's like he's not a bad person. He's just trying to survive.
Yeah.
Just like her. And so, I thought that was really well done because I half expected that to happen where she's like, I don't trust you anymore, get away from me.
Yeah.
But instead, she was just kind of like, but all she said was, she's
bickering.
like, Finn, don't go.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh.
Yeah.
Take care of yourself, basically.
Yeah, because he was like, I can't convince her to go with me, so.
Yeah. It's just better if I leave.
Yeah. So he goes with these kind of shady people that can take him to the Outer Rim, and then Rey actually hears like voices coming from like the basement of this cantina, and so she starts following.
I love
voices.
the steps that look just like Jabba's palace.
I know, and then you see like little BB-8 like climbing down the steps very slowly.
Is Bib Fortuna out there?
Yeah, BB-8 slowly following her, I guess, because he doesn't hear the voices.
The protector.
And then she goes into this room, and there's a chest. And so she goes in there, she opens the chest, and you see none other than a lightsaber. But whose lightsaber? Luke's old lightsaber. Also Anakin's old lightsaber. Yeah. And so she, some kind of instinct, she grabs it, and then she just sees this whole vision of, like, Kylo Ren killing all the Jedis that Luke was training. Because when Han Solo was telling, like, them the story of Kylo Ren, or Luke, on like why he disappeared, he's like, he was training a whole new group of Jedi.
I'm glad we got explanation about that early.
We probably should have mentioned that. But anyways,
forgot.
One of them went bad.
We're doing better than most other reviews.
Yeah,
that we do. We're staying more on topic. But
I'm proud of myself for not like eating a bunch of Chex Mix.
Yeah, like I mean,
I mean,
this is actually serious tonight.
Yeah.
What's going on?
I mean, when we're reviewing like Deadpool, I'll probably do it.
But yeah, like, he's explaining the story of, like, why Luke left. He's like, he was training a bunch of new Jedi, and one of them just couldn't handle it, and he killed all of them, and Luke felt he was responsible, so he left after that. And then, like, this is before you find out that Kylo Ren was that apprentice, and that was... No, I think it was revealed that it was his son, so you kind of, like...
Then Han doesn't, obviously go into detail.
No, but it's one of those things where you can tell just by the way he's saying it. You're like,
and it's on
there wasn't a moment where I thought, well, who's this apprentice? I was like, that's Kylo.
Oh, yeah.
But again, it was handled really well. Like, wasn't too like, I don't know. Like, it was just.
It wasn't ham-fisted.
Yeah, ham-fisted was the word I was looking for.
I like that word.
But Sin, like, she sees all these visions of, like, Kylo killing all the apprentices, whatever.
Younglings.
Yeah, younglings. They might have been younglings.
Yeah, it could have been.
It was just a very vague flashback where you see
he loves
him.
Vader, so I wouldn't doubt it.
That's actually in the EU. Yeah. It was Han Solo's son seeing the footage that R2 had of Anakin killing a bunch of younglings that inspired him. So
So they actually did borrow quite a bit from the
I would
EU.
not expect that.
Yeah, but they didn't just adapt it.
Yeah, like they
did.
Put
They
their
put
own
their
spin
twist.
to it.
So.
Oh yeah.
But it was cool. I liked how when she did open that little chest, it gave a lot more explanation too as to what all was going on, how her mind and world's just been flipped upside down. Then we see Moss come in.
I'd like to take a minute, just sit. Right
she's kind of like, take it. And she's like, no, I don't want to touch that thing again.
This is scary.
Yeah. And then that's kind of that moment where Maz, for sure, like, sees her and she's like, I know who you are.
It's yours.
Yeah. And so she takes off running because she's a little freaked out.
She doesn't know what's going on.
You
I'm
would
just
be
a
too.
little poor little slave.
Yeah.
Poor girl.
And then all of a sudden you touch this artifact, and all of a sudden you see all these crazy visions. So she takes off running.
What a day.
BB-8 follows her, and then
BB Great.
Yeah, BB Great. And so then Maz hands the lightsaber to Finn. She's kind of like, your friend left. Give this to her. And then that's when the First Order starts attacking
I need a weapon.
Yeah.
You have one.
Yeah, you have one.
Yeah. Does pretty well for not being force sensitive.
definitely.
Presumably not.
Definitely.
But like once that first order starts attacking again, these stormtroopers
they go hard or don't go at all.
Yeah, like when and that really cool scene where like he pulls out the lightsaber, he's like, haha. And that stormtrooper pulls out that like staff thing.
That was so cool.
He's like, traitor.
Yeah, these stormtroopers, man, these aren't your clumsy falling down.
They are accurate and they are deadly.
They're capable.
Yes, they are very much capable.
I want that. I want one of those things.
Yeah.
That like it wasn't. I don't know what it was, but it was like capable of fighting.
Whatever it was, I liked it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you have this nice like little duel.
Yeah.
And then the stormtroopers kind of got the upper hand.
I already know who he is.
Yeah.
He's the enemy.
Yeah, like they are
him.
efficient.
He's the traitor.
Because like I feel like in the original trilogy or even the prequels, like if someone had like betrayed him, it would have been like
they're too dumb.
Yeah. But no, in this
Hey, Rex.
they would have posted his face all over the interwebs of the First Order, where it's like, this guy's a traitor. If you see him, kill him.
Yeah.
So anytime stormtroopers do see him, they're like, traitor. So like he's kind of like about to kill Finn, and that's when he gets blasted. And good old Han's kind of like, I got your back, kid.
Yeah.
I like that laser crossbow of his.
Yeah. Like even like there's that really cool scene where like he's just grabs Chewie's crossbow. He's like, here, can I borrow this? Starts blasting people like, I really like this.
Yeah, I like this thing.
Yeah. And then, you know, they get overwhelmed, and then that's when you see that scene in the trailer where, like, they're all holding their hands up being captive.
Didn't know what
but then all of a sudden, the stormtroopers are like, incoming! And you're like, ooh. Because basically, right as the First Order know where BB-8 is, so does the Resistance. And so, like, that's when you see, like, that really cool scene where in the very distance you see, like, these clouds of mist over that lake, and you're like, are those the X-Wings?
Here we come.
Well, I just really like, too, just what led up to that. The two scenes in the cantina, the two different people, spoken subtitles.
Oh, yeah.
Said,
Oh, yeah.
Tell the Resistance.
Yeah.
Tell the First Order.
Yeah.
We know where the droid is.
Because, again, spies are
I want
everywhere.
to know that one chick's
sides.
backstory.
Yeah.
I'm sure we'll see that in a couple months. So, yeah, that's how both know where they are. But then you see that really cool scene from the trailer where you see, like, Poe Dameron with the other X-Wings, like, flying over that lake, and it's kind of like...
Jar Jar dangling on the pole.
Jar Jar dangling on a pole.
He was great in this movie, by the way.
Yeah. So then, really cool fight scenes with, like, the X-Wings and the TIE Fighters, especially Poe. Like, you really get an example of how good of a pilot he is. So there's a scene where,
and
like...
leader.
Yeah. Because there's a scene where, like, you know, the stormtroopers, they're in position. Like, they're not like, oh, let's all run away because they have ships. No, they're in position. They're shooting them down.
They go
and he swoops down low and is shooting individual stormtroopers. Not just, like, groups of them, but individual stormtroopers. So he is accurate.
He saves, like, the ones that are about to shoot. I think it's Finn. They're about to shoot Finn or something.
Yeah, they're about to shoot Finn.
Shoot that one.
Yeah, they shoot... That guy just gets shot away.
Yeah.
And then you see Poe, like, kind of in the distance up in the air, shooting down, like, 3, 4... TIE Fighters in a row, and that's when Finn's like, that is a good pilot, and you're like, you already know who that guy is, because they have that nice romance. Yeah.
But he still isn't sure if he made it or not.
Yeah.
Which makes
at this point in the movie, it's presumed that Poe Dameron's dead.
Yeah. And so then, they all get saved. Although Kylo actually goes after Rey. Like, she kind of takes off in the forest.
Oh, yeah, she's out in the...
Like, she actually takes out a couple stormtroopers, like, while she's there.
She does well.
Yeah, she does pretty well.
Yeah.
Which, again, people would be like, oh, how did she learn to, like, you know, be that accurate? Well, she's Force sensitive.
Yeah.
Like, it's not...
You will find out as the film progresses.
It's not completely confirmed at that point, but you start to get your suspicions.
You get your...
Shut up, Dave. I know that's what you're thinking.
Yeah.
Oh, they handled a little poorly.
Yeah. So she manages to take out a couple of the stormtroopers, and then that's when you hear, like, the lightsaber come out, and she's looking around.
Scared to death.
Yeah. And then that's when Kylo comes out, and he's kind of like...
I was just waiting for him to be like, sister.
Yeah. But he's kind of like, you're the woman I keep hearing about.
Which is still kind of funny in a way, just the way he kind of says it.
Yeah.
Because he's frustrated with her.
Yeah.
Because it should be a simple task.
Yeah.
But it isn't.
Because, like, the whole time, like, Hux and Kylo Ren are kind of butting heads, because he's kind of like, well, maybe if your men were competent enough, you would have been able to get the droid. And he's kind of like, no, my men are super competent. And all
maybe
that
we'll
stuff.
get a clone army.
Yeah. I like that they even reference the prequels.
Yep.
Whether it's more of a joke or just to kind of be like,
a little both.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Again, I as a joke, but also to reference. It's like, yes, they could still make clones if they wanted to.
And yes, those movies did happen. Get the fuck over it.
Yeah,
they exist.
Yeah.
So Kylo basically, like he's kind of like torturing her with the Force, and then that's when he finds out that she's seen the map.
Yeah.
So he's like, "You've seen it." So basically, he knocks her out and then takes her with him, and they're like, "Sir, what about the droid?" He's like, "We don't need the droid. We have something better."
Yeah. He's not that he's not smart sometimes.
Yeah, but
which I like.
He's clumsy.
He's a a little bit. Yeah, he's a flawed villain.
Yeah, which I like.
Yeah.
Yes.
Vader, I mean, was
he's kind of straight. And
and
he,
he never made mistakes. This guy slips up a little bit.
Yeah, because
there's a lot of Anakin in him.
Yeah, like he's
a good way.
And again, he's still
Clone Wars Anakin.
Yeah. If trying to make that distinction without prequeling it,
if it was good, Anakin, if it was good.
Yeah. Let's do it at that.
Kylo is
just with all the emotions.
Yeah,
and Kylo is still, I guess, very much in that kind of apprentice stage of being.
He fully isn't done.
Yeah.
With Sith type training and Jedi type training.
Because there's even the scene where so who is he? Is it when he's talking to Snoke? And it's and Snoke is kind of like he sees that like he's struggling between the light and the dark.
Yeah.
He's kind of like, you need to decide which one you're going with. And he's like, I want to go with the dark, but there's still a light within me.
I love that.
Yeah.
He usually
he actually admits it.
Yeah. Yeah. You usually see the opposite. It's like, I want to be good, but I can't do it because blah blah.
Yeah.
My body's
I'll do whatever you ask. But no, he's struggling. He wants to go dark side.
Yeah.
But
if the prequels were good, this would be the perfect emotion for Anakin.
Yeah, and he wants to go dark side, but he's just like, there's that light in me. I don't like it.
Which again is more reason why he's such a good villain in this movie.
Yes, he's awesome. I'm wearing a Kylo Ren shirt, by the way.
Yeah, he is. We're all wearing Star Wars shirts.
Yeah, I'm wearing a faded Empire symbol.
Yes.
Yeah, I've got my Boba Fett shirt and Boba Fett socks.
Deadpool hoodie. That's most like Star Wars thing here.
Totally.
I'm all
and
Disney
the most
up.
comments that we always get.
Yeah.
But anyways, like as Kylo is kind of like holding her in his arms, like taking her into the ship. Finn and Han both see, and so Finn's kind of like,
Finn's running over there. Yeah. Han's like, we can't do anything right now.
Yeah. He's kind of like, he took it. And he's like,
I've been here before, kid.
So that's when like they all go to the Resistance base, and they're trying to work out a plan. They already know, like, basically by that point, they already know Finn's kind of turned over from the First Order. Like, which again, I like the fact that they weren't kind of like, can we trust this guy?
Yeah.
Like in other movies, they would have made that into a soap opera moment.
And I like the assumption that Finn's been battling and having difficulty with being a stormtrooper for some time now.
Because again, Leia like addresses that like right off the bat. She's kind of like, she's like, hey, look, I really appreciate the fact that you turned over. And you've been a really big help to us. Which that was also a really good scene when they land like at the Resistance base, and that's when you see Leia for the first time.
Yeah. It was like she came in pretty late.
Yeah.
Change your hair.
Yeah, like that nice exchange between those two.
You got to think of something.
Yeah. But yeah, that was really nice, like the dialogue between those two, because it's kind of awkward because they've had some troubles like in the 30 years.
It isn't clear how long.
Yeah,
I don't think
it's been a little strange.
Too long.
No,
Kylo
pretty much since Kylo.
That's what
been Kylo
drove them apart. So I'd say it's been a few years. But they're
maybe like 5.
Yeah, about 5 years
probably.
Because basically, like they kind of, I guess, in a way, coped in their own ways. Like Leia just
it's really hard.
Stayed
essentially
as a
your child's
she
dead.
Into politics.
Yeah,
your child's dead in a way.
Yeah. And then
that's what
Han
thinks.
Yeah, I mean, he's dead but not dead.
And then Han just went back to what he does. Yeah,
that's her Force speaking.
Yeah.
And so basically, like they're trying to come up with a plan, and that's when Finn is kind of like, well, hey, if we're gonna assault the planet or the Starkiller base,
I like the name.
Yes,
is essentially a planet.
Thank you.
With a Death Star being built in it, but it's more powerful.
Massive.
It is
when they blow it up.
Yeah, and again, I like that they address that. Like, someone's kind of like, oh, so basically a Death Star.
In the meeting when it's blown up. So okay.
And they're like, no, here's the Death Star.
Han tries to play it off.
And then here's Starkiller Base, and it's kind of like, okay, so I like that they are kind of addressing that. We as an audience are like, oh, another Death Star. It's like, here's the Death Star. It's a moon.
Yeah.
Here's a planet-sized Death Star. Basically, this is a formidable force,
And its beam travels through hyperspace.
Yeah.
And splits apart and
Yeah.
hits like as many planets as they fucking want it to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
which they demonstrate just to be like, hey,
Fuck you.
yeah. And
Essentially.
naturally, the Resistance like home planet is their next target. So like, look, we've got like just a few hours before this thing is ready to
Draws
fire
its
off
power
again.
from the sun.
Yeah, draws its power
That's
from the
cool.
sun.
Oh yeah, that was awesome.
I love that.
Which I think is realistic. Like, how else do you explain like scientific? It's like, oh,
Yeah,
we burn energy
yeah,
or whatever.
In terms of a Star Wars film, it was as realistic as it can be.
Yeah.
In that Star Wars universe.
A little more almost traditional sci-fi in that way.
Yeah.
Which I love.
I did
Yeah.
find a lot of traditional sci-fi, even just with the creatures.
Yeah.
More
Yeah.
sci-fi.
Yeah, and again, I love the practical effects with a lot of the creatures. Like, I don't think any of the creatures are CGI.
No, there were definitely some CGI creatures.
Well,
It was, yeah.
It's more practical with a little bit of CGI
Definitely more practical.
embellishment.
Yeah.
Like all the creatures like walking about in like the streets and stuff. George Lucas would have CGI
Whoever
all
Simon
that.
Pegg was.
Yeah, yeah. Like I expected to like actually pinpoint him out.
He's probably several characters.
Yeah, probably
Yeah.
several characters just didn't talk or anything.
I liked how we saw Carrie Fisher's daughter.
Yeah,
A
Carrie Fisher's daughter.
Couple still spots.
But yeah, I like when they're kind of making their plans, and Finn is kind of like, well, hey, here's this place's weaknesses and blah blah blah.
Immediately proving that the instant trust they had in him was kind of unfounded because he's like lying.
Yeah.
Kinda, he's like, I don't know how to do this.
Yeah.
When they get to the planet, he's like, I don't know what we're doing. I just want to find Rey.
Yeah.
yeah.
But I like that Han Solo rolls with it. He's like,
Yeah.
well, we'll figure it out.
Yeah, we're here.
You're with me, buddy. I like it.
Yeah. So essentially, all this mission is complete crap. But in the vein of Star Wars, especially A New Hope, they pull it off through all odds. So basically, the snow planet, which again I don't remember the names of these.
It's just Starkiller.
Okay, Starkiller base.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's where they are.
Yeah.
So more than likely, inhospitable planet that they converted into this base would be my guess. Because again, it seemed very remote, and aside from like the Empire's influence there didn't seem to be much else.
Yeah, I didn't see any life.
yeah.
Except for trees.
Yeah, trees.
Some Groots.
Yeah.
And basically, Han Solo has this really cool idea how to get to that base without being detected. He's like, yeah, we just got to go through hyperspace until basically we hit that planet.
In the atmosphere.
In the atmosphere. And he's kind of like,
What?
well, yeah, like, what? And he's like, will this work? Won't know if it works until we try it.
Yeah.
And then comes out of hyperspace, they're about to hit a mountain, and he's like, I am pulling up, Chewie. Because naturally Chewie's just kind of like, yeah. And then they, like, have to stay really low, otherwise, like, it's hard, because it's harder for, like, the signals of, like, the TIE fighters and stuff to pick them up if they stay really low.
They're just crashing through trees.
Yeah, crashing through trees.
Like it's nothing.
Yeah.
Captain Planet is so fucking pissed.
Wait, no.
Yeah. And so, they land on the planet, or the circular base, undetected. And then that's when they're kind of like, okay, well, what's the easiest way to get in here? And then Finn's kind of like, follow me. And that's when you find out that he was kind of like, what position did you actually work? Sanitation. He's like, what? Sanitation?
And we get some great Han
Yeah.
attitude.
And that's when he's kind of like, he's like, yeah, I really have no idea what I'm doing. And again, I love that Han's just like, all right, we'll figure out when we come to it.
You can already tell in the 30 years we haven't seen him, he's been in a lot of spots like this.
Yeah.
And then it cuts to like Rey being interrogated by Kylo, which is a really cool scene.
His little kind of place he puts his victim, so to speak, was pretty interesting as well.
Yeah. Reminiscent of the one Han was in Empire.
Yeah, it was.
But I like the whole scene where he's trying to extract information from her, but she's fighting it.
Oh yeah.
And I think that's when she's finally
starting,
the Force
the
is
cantina
awakening.
stuff in Maz is starting to kind of
Makes sense.
make some sense to her.
It's like
I like the way she discovers it too.
Yeah.
She's like, I can probably do this, right? She tries to like Jedi mind trick a stormtrooper. He's
Yeah.
like, what'd you say?
They're still dumb.
She tries it a few times, and then he walks over to her. It's like, she's like, you will.
She kind of takes a deep breath and she channels the Force, and
you
she's
will
like,
loosen these restraints, and he's like, I will tighten these restraints. And then she tries one more time, looks right at him.
Dead serious, like,
you will loosen these restraints, or you will let me go. You will undo the restraints and leave the door open.
He's like, I'll undo the restraints and let the door open. And drop your weapon. And
while he's walking out, and drop your weapon. And drop my weapon.
But it, like that...
Well, yeah, then right before that, when Kylo is still... Man, he's getting frustrated. He's getting upset.
Because I think that's when he's starting to realize that she is Force sensitive.
But she's not trained, like he tells Snoke.
Yeah.
But he knows something's up, and he's you can already see him getting a little scared, and she mentions that.
Yeah, she's like, you're afraid.
Yeah.
And then, of course, he's kind of like, no, I'm not.
After he takes off his mask, I guess the first time.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it is the first time.
Yeah, he takes it off several times.
Well, no, he takes it off... the first time he takes it off, he is revealing it to Rey.
Because she is bickering back and forth with him.
Mm-hmm.
And, says something to the effect,
Yeah.
Doesn't like being interrogated.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And
which, that actually just, like, kind of back to, like, when Poe first got captured. Like when Kylo's talking to him, he's kind of like, what? It's kind of hard to understand you with, like, your voice modifier. Which I think was kind of along the lines of what Rey was saying when he's trying to interrogate her. She's like, why don't you, like, take off your mask and it'll be easier for me to, like, understand you or whatever. But yeah, that was a really cool scene, though, just him trying to interrogate her, and she's...
I like how it, like, just comes off. It's like, shh.
Yeah.
You know how it, like, shoots out.
Because first she's fighting back physically, like, she's trying to, like, back away, but then I think she's kind of, like...
Starts to feel something.
Yeah, she starts to feel, again, the Force awakening within her, and she's kind of, like, mentally fighting back, and then that's... And I like the sound effects they use for, like, the Force in action, so then that's when it makes this noise, and that's when you're like, oh, she like, Force pushed him out of her mind.
Game on.
Yeah. So then he's kind of like, nah, kind of storms off.
I'm upset.
Yeah.
Go complain to Snoke.
The Anakin in him, he storms off, complains to Snoke, he's kind of like, she's Force sensitive. And then that's when
Back to her escape.
Yeah, and that's when there's that one lowly stormtrooper and just guarding her.
No hope.
Yeah. Which that was I guess one of the slight problems where I'm like, shouldn't there be at least one?
But that's a classic villain thing.
Yeah.
Leave him alone in the cage.
And that also speaks to Kylo's skills at that point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not trusting enough. He feels, she's just some girl. Yeah. Sure, she's strong, but she doesn't know how to use and control it. She's not smart enough to pull a maneuver off like that. Yeah. And then he throws another temper tantrum once he finds out.
Which was great. When he like goes into that room and just sees it's empty, and he just whips out his lightsaber and starts
sparks flying. Then you see some stormtroopers walking down the hallway kind of towards it, and one of them just stops and I was like,
see, I would use that in my everyday life. If I, get a bad grade on a test, I'd be like, why?
And again, like, I like that subtle humor in this movie where, like, again, you see, like, parts of, like, the wall flying out, and the stormtroopers are like, no, I'm not dealing with that. Like, they don't say anything, just, you see them standing there, like...
Yeah. You can tell they deal with that on a common basis.
Yeah. You can tell, like, the one that's, like, seeing it happen, the other one doesn't know about it. Just, like, stops him.
New guy.
You don't want to do this.
Yeah. Like, again, no words, just the physical communication is, you're like, huh, that's great. And then they just walk away like nothing happened. They're like, nope, not getting involved.
Yeah.
And then that's when Rey's kind of, like, skulking around trying to escape. And then that's when Finn, Han, Chewie, and...
They're talking about how they're going to break her out.
Yeah, they're going to break her out in BB-8. They're, like, kind of skulking around as well. And they've got bombs placed to, like, kind of destroy the inside.
Chewie.
To weaken the...
Chewie doing his thing.
Yeah.
I forgot what they kept referring to, like, the weakness of the Starkiller base. But they're like, if we can damage it from the inside... And the X-Wings can kind of like...
Just like Anakin does in Episode 1.
Yeah.
That was realistic.
Yeah, exactly. This was more realistic. But yeah, it's this really cool scene where, like, they're,
done the right way.
Yeah, done the right way. And Rey and, like, them kind of, like, come across each other by complete accident. They're kind of like, wah!
I think it's Chewie that's, like, kind of pointing at him.
No, like Finn's kind of like, okay, so here's my plan to rescue Rey, and then Han's kind of like,
what are you pointing that way?
Gesturing with his hand. He's like, what are you doing? Like, I'm trying to explain to you.
Yeah.
And he's kind of like, look over there, and then you see her. Yeah.
I'm around.
Yeah. So then they're kind of like, oh, okay, cool. She's capable. She escaped. She's trying to But then when they actually like go across, like cut that corner around that corridor, and then they're like, "Whoa, hey, you're alive! You came to save me!"
I'm here to rescue you.
Yeah, I think Han like he's kind of like it was his idea, by the way. They guys kind of give extra points to him. And she like hugs him. And it's kind of like, oh yeah, what a sweet embracing moment. But
another example of how their chemistry.
Oh yeah,
was
and it feels so
not
natural.
Awkward.
They're on fire.
Yeah,
it's just so hot.
Not prequel.
So hot.
Lack thereof.
But it's kind of like. It's in a way where it's like it could get romantic, but they could just really be friends.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like how it leaves you wanting to know
in
exactly
in the brief time that this movie takes place, they've been through a lot.
Yeah.
So they've already built up that chemistry of like, we've been through some stuff.
Along with Poe and Finn.
Yeah,
a few days.
Poe and
That's how that bromance develops.
Like before they go on that mission, like Poe, Finn sees Poe and he's kind of like, what? You're alive,
bro.
And
Here's
like they
your
kind of,
jacket back. No, it looks good on you.
yeah,
Suits you.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I like that scene where he's kind of like, yeah, here's how
I thought he was gonna say you earned it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which, that still would have been cool.
Yeah.
Suits you is, second best.
Yeah. But yeah, I did really like that scene where they're kind of like bromance and he's kind of like, yeah, I thought you were dead. Like, here's how I got off the planet. And he's kind of like, dude, oh my god, like, you're the best pilot ever. But yeah, like, yeah, that was a really cool scene. And then when they come up with their plan to like blow the place up, that's when like Han's like they've kind of like gone their separate ways to like play separate.
You already know it's
So you see
one
Kylo
on one. Episode 5, Vader, Luke. Episode 4, Obi-Wan.
Yeah.
Vader.
And so Kylo walks on like this little bridge.
Then another episode 1 with like the Qui-Gon thing.
Yeah.
When they're divided up.
Yeah.
It just kind of just zeroes.
And so Han, I think he's kind of like, do I approach him? And I think finally he's like,
before Leia's like, tell him to come home.
Yeah.
And then they reveal his name is Ben.
Yeah.
Which I was like,
Han
what?
Comes from
because that's from the EU.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Kylo knows Han is on the planet.
Yeah,
like as soon as they land, he's kind of like Han Solo.
Yeah.
But I think he just didn't expect to see him down there in that
And
area.
confront him, really.
Yeah. And so he's kind of like Han Solo. Like he doesn't call him like Dad. Like he's trying to.
Yeah, he's because earlier I guess when Snoke says your father, he's like he's no use to me or whatever. He's dead to me.
Yeah. I think it is kind of one of those things where
it's like
Snoke is like, you know what you have to do to like.
I was kind of hoping. I was like, man, he's probably gonna go.
Yeah.
I was just kind of holding off, and then the way they set that scene up so perfectly.
That was such an emotional scene.
I was just like, this is cool the way they're doing it, but I'm like,
because like Kylo takes his helmet off and he's kind of like,
let him see it.
Yeah, and
his
he's
son one last time.
And
Come on,
he's
son.
Yeah.
And he's kind of like,
his wish.
like he tells him straight up, he's like, I'm struggling right now, and I need your help.
There's something I need to do.
Yeah. And that was the moment where I'm like, no.
Great acting too.
Yeah. And then Han, he's kind of like, anything, son.
Yeah.
Because
he thinks he's
like kind of handing him the lightsaber, and that's when Han grabs it.
They both have their hand on it.
Yeah. And it is that moment where you're like, how's this gonna go?
I was like, how's this gonna happen?
Yeah.
Yeah. And then
at first I thought he was just gonna like gut him.
Yeah.
Don't come any closer.
Yeah. But then saber goes through him.
I like Qui-Gon.
Yeah. And then as
soon as you see the sun,
it ignites like right
the
through
dark.
Yeah.
And then as Han like right before he falls, he like
tears.
has his hand on his face.
No words.
Yeah. And again, that's the powerful
and
moment
it speaks
about
so
it.
much.
Yeah. Then I love when like because Chewie, Finn, Rey, they all see it, and I love Chewie's reaction. He's just like he lets out this growl and just starts blasting stormtroopers
out of anger.
You get the shot in at Kylo.
Yeah,
too.
he actually hits his arm.
Yeah.
Kylo gets banged up.
Oh yeah. Yeah, he's not like
we'll
this.
get to, but
yeah. And so then like Finn and Rey, they're kind of like no, they're blasting stormtroopers as well.
Which is another episode 4 where Luke's watching from afar.
Yeah.
When Obi-Wan goes,
and they just start shooting madly at the.
Because Han knows what he's doing. He's either gonna get his son home or it's his time.
Yeah.
And he wants to go down shooting. That's, I guess, as good as you could have had a death for Han.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because it was even
he was gonna die an old man doing some mission or battle, smuggling, doing what he does best, or trying to bring his family back together, which is just kind of the cool total turn from when we meet him in the canteen in episode 4.
Yeah.
How his whole character.
Yeah.
He's coming home with the sun, or he's not coming home.
Yeah.
And then, like, it pans
I'm
to
gonna go down
Leia
swinging.
back at the base, and she knows. Like,
She feels it.
Yeah.
Like, she's just... And again, hats off to Carrie Fisher for pulling that scene off, where she's... Again, no words. She just kind of steps back, and she's like, oh.
She kind of stumbles a little bit.
So emotional.
Like, just mentally processing all that. She's like, oh.
It's, something.
And then it cuts back to, like, them trying to escape the Starkiller base, and they detonate the bombs.
They make it onto the surface.
Yeah. And, like, you don't know what happens to Chewie, because you just see him, like, growl, and then he detonates the bombs. Because they didn't detonate all of them. They damage it enough. And then that's the big enough window for the Resistance. They're kind of like, it's not destroyed, but it's enough for our boys to get in there and do some damage. So that's when Poe comes in with his men. There's, really cool dogfight scenes, fighting the TIE fighters, and then they're starting blasting the outside of the Starkiller base and everything. And that's when, like, it starts to kind of crumble. Like, the planet's actually crumbling, and that's when they're all, like, Hux is kind of like, I'm out! Yeah. I'm done! And then Kylo, like, as Finn and Rey are escaping through the forest...
Here it comes.
So basically, he just force pushes Rey into a tree. She's kind of down. So then Finn pulls out the lightsaber, scared, terrified.
But doesn't back down.
Yeah, he doesn't back down.
Which makes him my boy.
Yeah. But he did really good. Like, considering he had no training.
You would have never seen that in the previous episodes.
Presumably maybe, like, melee training, like that other stormtrooper with, like, just staff things.
Just little.
Yeah.
But not enough, like, oh, here's what you do in a lightsaber
fight. He never would have thought he'd be controlling a lightsaber.
We even learn, he says, like, that was his first mission out when he just wasn't able to kill. That was the one we see in the opening. That's his first mission out, so he's not.
And that's why he's like, this isn't right.
Yeah.
And the first thing that, like, Kylo says to him when he pulls out the lightsaber, he's like, traitor!
Yeah.
And then they just go right at it.
Because as we said earlier in that first opening scene, he remembers when Kylo's walking back up, he gives him that little stare to, like, now it's, we're at this moment.
Like, it was that slight tension just in that one scene. You're like, oh, this is gonna...
Yeah.
And then sure
enough...
It's
gonna be bad for you.
Yeah, like, Kylo, he's very much loyal to the First Order, so he's like, traitor!
Yeah, that lightsaber belongs to me!
Yeah. Because, he's a relic hunter. He wants anything related to, like, Darth Vader and Sith.
He wants the relic
hunter thing wasn't really explored so much.
Well, yeah, but, like, he's after anything that belonged to Darth Vader specifically.
Grandfather.
Yeah. So they're duking it out, and... pretty good lightsaber duel between those two.
Yeah.
Good as they can be.
Yeah. They're it really... Kylo's definitely winning, but he
still has a lot to learn, which is why I'm excited for the next episode.
Oh, yeah.
But I think it also makes sense that he wouldn't be, like, this expert
he had,
combatant with the lightsaber.
He had enough training to wipe out the remaining Jedi.
Who were also apprentices.
Yeah, and not Luke, obviously.
Yeah.
And just enough to carry that over with some stuff he's done with Snoke.
Because that's the thing, like, aside from those apprentices that he wiped out, which it didn't even say
how many times has he fought with lightsaber without what? That's why he probably uses it so much, because he can't.
Like, he's not fighting other, like, lightsaber, another
I want my sandwich now, Hux.
That's what I'd be doing if I had a lightsaber. No one to fight with.
He plays with it. He displays it. It's not.
It's also a sign of intimidation to other people.
Yep.
Not just... And also him just...
He's trigger happy.
Yeah. Again, who wouldn't be if you had a lightsaber? I would flip it out anytime I got the chance.
Yeah.
Again, like I said earlier, if it's talking about the weather, it's like, how's that weather going? Yeah.
You just have... And sometimes you just have him standing around with it, just kind of flipping it just cause.
Yeah, just...
Well, that's why I love it earlier in that forest scene where he just has it to Rey.
Yeah.
And she's,
but yeah, like, they're in a nice duel. Finn is kind of getting his... Like, he actually, like...
holding his own as much as he can.
As much as he can, but he's kind of like, I'm probably not going to make it out of this. Just from, like, his facial expressions throughout the fight. Because there really isn't a whole lot of dialogue in that fight, if any.
No. There's none.
Yeah, it's just... Yeah. Which, again, this movie's done so well.
Well, why didn't they throw rocks at each other and be like, well, this can't be settled with...
And say, I hate ya!
Yeah. This can't be settled with our... knowledge of the Force, but with our skill with the lightsaber, and
which
all
is
that.
Complete shit. But
I have the high ground.
Again, we're not talking about the prequels. We're talking about Force Awakens.
This just shows how much better they are. Though.
Yeah. And how well JJ knows the material, not just as a fan, but like
homework.
Yeah, Because not as he's not only a fan, but like he.
If anything, we're doing justice.
Yeah, like he knew what to do with a Star Wars film.
Yeah. Yep. He's already done it twice.
Yeah, with Star Trek basically.
But then Finn goes down.
Yeah, Finn goes down. Yeah. Like he gets cut up his back. So that's when Rey's kind of like...
It gets a little burn with the cross
yeah.
guard.
Yeah, earlier.
Like in the shoulder.
Yeah. So you gotta use that cross guard for something.
Yeah. And... Because like in the fight, like he kind of hits the lightsaber out of Finn's hand, so it lands in the snow, kind of off to the side. So that's when,
Kylo's trying to grab it.
He's using the Force trying to pull it. And then he's kind of struggling. And then as he pulls it out of the snow, it goes past him. Mm-hmm. Rey grabs it, which I was expecting to be Luke.
I thought it might be Luke.
But
I had the suspicion, but I was like,
if they're gonna, I was like, if they're gonna introduce him, soon they'll do it now. Yeah. And if they don't, they'll wait till the end.
Yeah. But then she catches it almost by her surprise. She's like, "Whoa! Yeah. Oh my god!"
It works.
Yeah. And then she's kind of like, "All right, let's do this." She
activates the blade hard.
Yeah. She like almost naturally is kind of like.
That's why I'm like, she has no lightsaber training. Think of how deadly she's gonna be once she gets from Luke.
Yeah. Like
oh man,
she was doing pretty good. And I think Kyle was surprised too. He's like, I shouldn't be like on the ropes here.
Because once he like starts winning in a way and he has her down, he could kill her.
Yeah,
but he doesn't because he wants to train her.
Yeah, like he even tells her, he's like,
that's
you
like
could be
that's the first dialogue in that fight, really.
Like he's like, you could be so much more powerful if you let me train you.
Then he's like, that kicks on a light for her. The Force to use the Force.
And that's when she just lets the Force flow through her, and she just pushes him back.
Scars up his face a little bit.
Yeah, actually, like, kind of scars up his face a bit.
She wins the fight.
Yeah, more or less.
It's from the break. And
the break, like, as the planet's crumbling, like, there's kind of, like, a fissure that breaks in between them.
Because for a split second, I was like, are they going to kill Kylo?
Yeah.
They're not going to maul it, are they?
No, and thankfully they don't.
He gets hit hard, and I was like, oh no. I started getting a little scared.
I feel like if they did kill him...
Would have been done better than episode 1.
Yeah, because they at least developed the character. But thankfully,
I know. I was like, I'm still gonna love this movie, but I want him to survive.
Yeah. So like, it's one of those things where like they can't continue the battle. So she's like, all right, well, I'm out. So she takes off running. She picks up Finn. Well, basically, she's like lying over his presumed dead corpse, or he might still be alive, but she's still like.
He's wounded. He's down.
Yeah. So that's when you see a light flash in their face, and then that's when you see Chewie. Piloting the Millennium Falcon.
Yeah.
And you're like, yes, Chewie's alive! Because 2 deaths in that movie would have been rough. Especially...
You can't kill Chewie.
Yeah.
You can't kill the dog.
No.
Even if it is a Disney movie, you can't kill the dog.
Because that was the thing, too, though, is I was like, if they kill Han, is Chewie going to bite it, too? Because they're so...
They can't do that.
No, they can't.
That's why I was thinking it would be one of them.
Yeah.
I knew it would be Chewie.
Yeah.
You can't kill the dog.
Yeah. So basically, she like
Disney has killed enough dogs in movies.
They have. So
she loads
Finn onto the Millennium Falcon, co-pilots the Millennium Falcon with Chewie, and they're both kind of like,
she's the new one.
Yeah.
In command.
Oh yeah. And Chewie like actually gives her the approval. He's going this, which is not something he does unless you're Han Solo. Because I think actually
because earlier Han's like, Chewie likes you.
Yeah.
He's offering the job.
Yeah. In his own Han Solo way. She's kind of like, are you offering me a job? He's like, I'm thinking about it.
He never said it.
Doesn't pay well.
You may not survive.
I won't be nice to you.
Yeah. Like, again, such a Han Solo way to offer a job.
Yeah.
He was so Han Solo.
Yeah. Which is weird. Like, because he's playing Indiana Jones, wasn't
he? Yeah.
But anyways, so, they go back to the Rebel or Resistance base after the planet blows up, and all the villains make it out alive.
Yeah,
like Phasma, who I think was.
I was thinking Phasma or Hux would go.
Yeah, same with me. But I like that.
I'm glad they didn't.
Yeah, because they can.
Don't get me wrong.
Keep
I just
them going
thought
in the other movies.
One, just because we usually get one.
Yeah.
Villain gone per film.
Pretty much. So like all the villains, everyone makes it out alive, villain wise. Which again I like, so that way they can develop them more in the other films, and just they're still running amok. Yeah. And then they get back to the Rebel Resistance base. Finn gets medical treatment immediately, and Rey's just standing there, like outside the Millennium Falcon. She's just processing all this, and then Leia.
What did just happen?
Leia just steps out like no words, and
Hugs her.
Yeah, hugs her.
Because they both know.
Yeah.
I know, we
It was
know.
such a nice scene.
Yeah.
And then that's kind of when, like, Rey's like, okay, well, I have... Or no, like, when they... Like, so there's a scene when, like, R2... Because early in the movie, like, R2's at that, the Resistance base, where they're kind of like, oh, he's not been the same since Master Luke left.
3PO in his red arm.
Which they don't
Immediately calls attention to it.
Yeah.
Hello, I'm C-3PO.
Yeah.
You probably didn't recognize me with my red arm.
Which, that was a cool, a funny scene when,
Butt's right in the way of
Yeah.
Han and Leia.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, princess!
Oh,
Han! Oh, I'm in the way, aren't I? And then he just, walks off. Yeah. But yeah, like, so then, after that, like, R2 essentially awakens. You're kind of like, oh,
Yeah.
Luke! He's somewhere nearby!
The R2 unit
Probably.
awakens.
So then, like, BB-8 rolls up to him. He's kind of like, hey, buddy, you're awake.
Yeah.
I'm your
Have a nice
grandfather.
little- yeah. They have a nice little chat, and then that's when they
R2's
combine
stars.
BB-8's part of the map with R2's. So they get the full map to Luke. So that's when Rey sets off with Chewie and the Millennium Falcon as co-pilot.
Yeah.
But before that, like, she kind of, like, Finn's unconscious, getting medical treatment, and she's just sitting by his
Where
side.
they leave him
Yeah.
Yeah.
for the films.
And she's kind of like, we'll meet again. I just know it. And then she kisses him on the head,
Yep.
and then she leaves.
I thought he was gonna awaken because it was a
Yeah.
Disney film.
Yeah.
So it's like they just reversed the roles.
Yeah.
Kiss him, he wakes up.
But I'm glad they did.
I'm
That
glad
was-
they didn't.
Yeah.
But I was like, all right, because I was waiting for the Disney moment,
Yeah.
It was
No
and I'm
Disney
glad
moments.
I didn't get it.
it was the least Disney movie.
Yeah. So then, like, they land on this planet, which, again, don't know the name of it, which I think that's Skellig Michael Ireland. Like, it's an island off the coast of Ireland.
The Shire.
Yeah. Well, it actually does look a lot like the Shire. But anyways, so she's going up, like, climbing up these steps to these ruins.
A lot of stuff.
A lot of steps.
Chewie's just
To, like, this
staying-
old, I guess,
chilling
Jedi
back.
temple. Yeah, he's kind of like,
Yeah.
you got this.
He's old now.
I'll let you have your moment.
No.
Yeah.
And then she gets to the top.
No words.
Yeah, no words. She just climb the steps, and she gets to the top. You just see
There he is.
the backside of Luke cloaked, and then he turns
Audience
around.
claps.
Yeah, audience claps as they should.
You see
And,
that
like-
he's got the hand.
Yeah, he's got the nice, cool robotic hand. He
that we
flips the
see
hood
in the
down,
trailer.
and he's just looking at Rey. And the way they're just looking at each
He's
other.
been waiting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's been
And
waiting.
she
he
pulls
tries-
out the lightsaber, and the way, like, she's just handing it out to him.
Scared.
I think
Yeah.
she might have said something like, "This is yours." I don't think there was dialogue there, but there might have been.
No, I don't think she did. I don't think there was any dialogue at all.
I don't think so.
Yeah,
No.
I don't think there was.
But she's handing it out to him, and he's kind of just like. And I think that's when it really solidified that is his daughter.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And the music is really amping up
Yeah.
there.
And then the
camera's
camera
swirling
turns
around.
Yeah.
around. It's like,
And then it just
what a
wipes
perfect,
out.
perfect ending.
Credits.
Yeah.
Yep. As soon as they start playing, I turn to you guys. I'm like, so she's his daughter.
Yeah, because it's one of those things where, like, again, they clarified who the lineage of Kylo is, but Rey was still a little ambiguous. But it was like,
It's his daughter.
well, if she's not Han and Leia's, she's Luke.
Yeah, that's what. Because I was just kind of already braced myself for Rey Solo.
Yeah.
That's why I didn't know how the interaction would be between Han and Rey at first.
Yeah.
I thought it'd just be like, you got yourself in trouble again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm here to rescue.
Yeah. But I think, because it explained a little bit that, like, Rey was left on that planet at an early age. So I'm assuming,
Then
like,
I was
Luke,
like, okay, maybe Han still is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a slight chance, but I think
But I'm
he's still
assuming-
acting strange.
Luke probably left her there out of safety.
Oh,
like,
yeah,
after, like,
definitely.
Kylo. Cause, he's a little. I don't know. Might be a little bit older than Rey.
Probably.
Like,
Yeah,
maybe a few
couple
years.
years.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'd say so.
I mean, they're essentially,
But
for the
again-
movie in their 20s.
Yeah, but again, in the movie, I feel like that's something that's going to be explained a bit more, like in Episode 8, where she might be like, well, why'd you leave me on that planet for so long?
And Rey's mother and
Yeah, like, explain
all
who
the-
her mother is.
Margin.
But yeah, that was just such a great scene.
What a way to end.
I know.
From start to finish, like we said, the flow was perfect.
Yeah.
like I told you all, it was 2 hours 15 minutes.
Yeah.
Shortest 2 hours 15 minutes I've ever seen of a film.
I can't think of a moment because even in like movies I enjoy, there's a moment.
There's always that moment where you can sneak to the bathroom real quick.
I'm just like, okay, I'm waiting for this moment to be over.
There really is none.
There was no moment that I wanted to end in this movie.
No, I was as soon as it ended, it was like, all right, look, come on, let's keep going.
Yeah.
Let's start the training.
Yeah. So wow, that was probably the best we've done with reviewing a movie and staying on topic.
Pat yourself on the back, fellas.
But it was just such a good movie. Like
character development, the character personality.
And also, like, mind you, yes, we're huge Star Wars fans, but we're also viewing this film as a film. And again, as a film, it was incredibly well done. Like directing,
you don't really need to see the other ones to get this one.
It definitely improves.
It improves it,
but like, it's
this would not be a bad film to introduce to your young kids.
No, not at all.
And then they could go back and discover.
Yeah, because again, that's another a testament to how good this film is you don't necessarily have to watch even the original trilogy. Mm-hmm. Like you can go into this film and
I know plenty of people that started with the prequels.
Yeah.
Just because of the time it was and they're young. Mm-hmm. So at least with that, you start bad to get to good.
Yeah.
Rather than good, bad, now we're getting back to good.
Yeah. So this is definitely the right way to start this, reinvigorate this franchise and start it off.
It's hard to like judge where you place it on the scale just because it's only a couple hours fresh. So I don't want to do that yet.
Easily over the prequels.
Yeah.
Oh well, yeah.
No
that goes without saying.
I remember my bar was like, if it's at least as good as Episode 3, I'll be fine.
Yeah.
I knew it would be. I should know how much.
Yeah.
And I had all these kind of envisioned things. Mm-hmm. So I'm glad some were true and some weren't.
Yeah.
I liked, I loved being surprised and, just a great job to everyone that worked on the film to keep it spoiler free as they could.
Yeah.
And all this, I never bought into the stupid, Kylo Ren, that's Luke.
Yeah.
I still think Snoke is Jar Jar, though.
Yeah.
Jar Jar Plagueis.
Same thing.
Yeah.
We only see Snoke in hologram.
Yeah.
And he's like this giant kind of...
Did we say what we thought about that on...
We haven't.
Off camera we did. Off.
So, Snoke looks different from what I expected, because, like, everyone was like, oh, he's immune, which, I just look up a picture of Mune on Google of the Star Wars universe, it's like M-U-U-N, because, apparently actually, no, I don't think it was established that was Plagueis' race. I think a lot of people just assumed, because his description matched the Mune or something, so it's still possible he is Plagueis, but he's alien but humanoid looking.
He looks alien enough that he could obviously.
It was very sci-fi.
Yeah.
Yeah, but he looks human enough that like he could just be a disfigured human.
Yeah, because again, when you see his face, he's
reminded me of like something from Harry Potter too.
A little bit, yeah.
Voldemort.
Yeah, a little Voldemorty.
But he's got what I assume were scars from
battle.
What? But yeah, he's...
Those little scars Jar Jar had on.
Oh, yeah. So, like, in the holograms, he's probably, like...
Somebody will get run with that,
25 feet tall.
I don't think he's really...
No, he's probably more like...
The hologram,
I hope not.
Just like how the Emperor, made him just like a really big head hologram.
I liked... Yeah.
So, it's like... I mean, I think they did say that Snoke is tall. So, he's probably, like, maybe 10 feet tops.
Maybe even shorter.
I wouldn't say 10 feet. I'd say maybe like 7.
I'd say about 7.
7.
That's what I'm saying, like tops.
10
feet, but probably more
10.
around like 7.
6 to 10, 7 to 10. But
because they did say that like even with like they
only
wanted
had,
to use
2 scenes.
Too, right? 2 scenes.
Yeah.
Powerful scenes.
Because JJ said he wanted to do practical effects for Snoke, but they were like the race or whatever the character is just too big, and they were like it'd just be too complicated. We couldn't physically. I
like
do
how
it.
there's still a huge mystery with Snoke.
Yeah.
Now we're gonna hear so many crazy details the next year and a half.
Another thing too, though, is like when Leia and Han are talking. He's kind of like, we lost our son. Like it's all our fault. He's like, no, it's Snoke's fault.
Yeah.
So you clearly know who he is. Like it's not one of those things like, it's just the dark side.
He's probably been around shortly after Return of the Jedi.
Yeah.
And again, she's kind of like
that version of Thrawn.
Yeah. And they are kind of like. She was like, there's a lot of Vader in him. He's like, I know, that's what I don't like. Yeah, that's what scares me.
Uncle Owen and Aunt Beru.
Yeah, but she's also like, well, he's also got a lot of you in him. Kind of like that nice moment where
They're
where you're like,
connecting
yeah,
again.
they're connecting again.
He's a Jedi.
Yeah, but yeah, it's a solid movie.
And also on that little Han and Leia scene where he says, "I saw him today. I saw our son," and that's when you already kind of knew he's got to confront him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that was kind of the beginning of the end.
I mean, when Han died, I literally I didn't blink for 10 minutes.
Yeah.
And my jaw.
I hardly
was
blinked throughout the film, but especially during that scene because I was like, "This is it."
My jaw just sank, and
Yeah.
I felt like someone really died.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was bummed out.
Oh man.
Yeah. Like
Han Solo.
Again,
one of
I
my
knew it
favorite
was coming.
characters ever.
I wanted to
knew
think
it
it
was
wasn't.
coming.
I kept saying.
See, I knew it because the way Harrison Ford has been all over this press, the way he was in the film so much.
Yeah.
I mean, he owned that film for the old characters because we were not introduced to Leia till late. Luke, the very, very end.
Yeah, literally the very
So,
end.
Han Solo's just kind of carrying it for that original trilogy.
Yeah.
And he had to say to JJ's I'll come back on one exception. If you kill me off, finally.
Yeah.
Because he wanted.
So that's why he's had so much fun in the film.
Yeah, it was a proper last
So
hurrah.
Han
It really
Solo
is.
and how much press he's done, talking about how good it is.
Oh,
and, how...
It is.
So...
Being genuine about it, too.
Yeah. We're not...
Even 10 years ago, he was like, "I'll never go back to this. I'm done."
I think it was
silly.
one of those things where the writing,
yeah, he definitely had to be convinced. And props to J.J. Abrams and Cashton and everyone that was working.
I can't really think of a more perfect way to kill Han.
Yeah.
Yeah, if he's gonna go out,
His
falls off. So
yeah,
people will be like, "He didn't die."
yeah.
Those rumors.
Yeah,
Just because everyone's that
Like
way.
he'll be a Force ghost because he's a Jedi now.
Well, Luke survived falling that high, and
Yeah.
Darth Maul survived it.
It's like, okay, let's just say he survives
gonna
the
be
fall. He still has a
so-
gaping hole in him from where he was impaled.
There's gonna be
He's
so
dead.
much more.
And the planet
theories now.
imploded.
Yeah, he's dead.
That's what I'm not looking forward to the next year and a half.
Yeah.
Theories.
Yes.
I look forward to shooting him down.
That.
Wrong.
But,
Wrong.
But
Stupid.
But I'm staying strong with Darth Binks.
All right. Yeah. I can
Even
appreciate
if
that.
even if he's not
Respect
Snoke,
it.
even if he's not Snoke,
There's gotta be.
he's pulling.
I just
the
want to
shadow.
see some picture. We even get pod race flags.
Yeah.
In the film, so it's like, it's got to be something.
Yeah. But yeah, since we're going on an hour and a half, we could easily do a feature length. We've already pretty much done a feature length film on the review, but we could go longer. But we're
BB-8's
not.
great.
Yeah, BB-8 is great. Dave.
Yeah, fuck you, Dave.
Phasma's awesome. Everyone's
Phasma's
awesome.
cool, yeah.
There's no character. I hated that.
Yeah.
character.
There was no character I thought could have been taken out.
Yeah, and even though
There's so much more to add upon. That's why these next two films are going to be incredible. With how everything turns around, because we're seeing Rey and Finn and Poe develop.
yeah.
Just think how crazy of a Jedi Rey's going to be
Oh my god.
by episode 9.
And again, these smaller characters like Phasma, not in the movie a whole lot, but
But even with just the marketing,
I just want to see what she turns into in episode 8 or 9.
And I like Tux.
Yeah, I like Tux. I want to see what.
By the way, worth mentioning, Phasma never takes the helmet off.
No, which I'm glad.
Yeah.
Even when even when Finn's in charge now.
There's another scene where
He talks about blasting the bucket off her face, but he never does it.
Yeah.
I'm glad.
And there actually are female stormtroopers aside from Phasma. So I think Kylo's actually talking to a stormtrooper, and it's a female.
Oh, okay.
Which I just thought was interesting because it's
I like the diversity.
yeah. And then Akbar. Akbar is back.
His return. I'm glad you get as many original
Yeah.
trilogy characters as you can without overflowing.
And if he comes back in episode 8 or 9,
cheesy.
he has to say it's a trap again at some point.
Yes.
At
He
some
will.
point, yeah.
Even Han said, "I have a bad feeling about this."
Yeah.
You know, he had to say it one time.
Because everyone
Just
says
one
it in all
time.
the Star Wars films.
Once.
And the Wilhelm scream was in one of the scenes.
Yeah.
Because that's you gotta have that in
must.
that. Yeah.
There's only a couple musts, and those
Yeah.
are high on the list.
Yeah. Bad feeling about this, Wilhelm scream, and no, they didn't have that thing.
They did have cheering.
They did. But yeah, any other things we want to mention before we wrap this up, gentlemen? Aside from the fact that
It was great. I can't wait for the rest. I think
see it.
later on the road, down the road in the next few weeks or whatever, we can kind of do some speculations for what we
Yeah.
And once Dave sees the movie and gives his opinion,
take on how he will fall in love with BB-8.
Oh yeah, as he should.
Because that's the thing. I love BB-8.
Yeah,
we do. I mean, and we were
It started out as a joke. Just
yeah. We were just fucking with Dave.
4 hours ago, it was a joke.
Yeah, we were just like, we probably won't hate BB-8, but I don't think he's gonna really be a big thing. But like, we fell in love with the guy.
Yeah.
He's great.
Yeah,
Won me over. I'm sold.
Yeah, like, yeah.
But we can definitely
So much personality.
tackle into the speculation and our thoughts later on.
So
a lot more Star Wars to come.
Oh yeah. But yeah, if you guys enjoyed this video, and hopefully if you enjoyed the movie, just leave your comments below on what you thought, what your speculations are.
Yeah. And if you didn't enjoy the movie, fuck you.
Yeah, it's a great movie.
All 1.5 of you.
And feel free to go back and watch our trailer analysis videos just to see
the progression.
Because I don't think we were that far off on some things.
Did okay.
But just check them out if you want to, and feel free to
It's been
subscribe
a long
to the
13
channel.
months since we've been counting it down.
So like, comment, share, subscribe. Hopefully you enjoyed this, and hopefully you'll enjoy our other videos.
In the comments, at least if you're gonna spoil shit, say you're spoiling shit.
Yes.
Or just don't be an asshole and don't spoil anything at all.
Well, I mean, yeah, if just say spoiler alert if you're gonna talk about spoiler stuff, and then put a bunch of spaces so that it says a show.
Be courteous.
More.
Be respectful.
Yeah.
Be kind.
Make it so the comment has like a show more on it before you do the spoilers.
Yeah.
Make it that
Even if it's just gibberish, like just letters, but yeah.
Well, I mean, you can just press enter a bunch of times.
Yeah. Or again, my preference, don't be an asshole. Don't spoil anything.
Simple.
Yeah.
I like it.
Don't be an asshole.
Thanks for listening.
Yeah. Until next time, everyone. Cheers. And
Fuck
may
you,
the
Dave.
Force be with you.
Fuck you, Dave.